Hi everybody, this is Carol. Welcome to my channel. Today I would like to give you this video on ways of interpreting tarot cards. The guidelines that I'm going to share with you today are those that I have taught in the past that have helped me and helped my students. And I will also do a mock reading, take out some tarot cards and give you examples of the material that I'm covering here with you today. But I'm going to begin with three main concepts that I would like you to grasp or to consider. And I have them written here that I'm going to share with you today. No card has one meaning, but rather is a metaphor, archetype for a variety of interpretations. Now, I use the word metaphor here instead of the word symbol, which would be fine to use because a symbol is, of course, something on each tarot card that we learn its meaning to identify with. But if we use the word metaphor, meaning that we look at the symbol and we look at the images and we look at the colors and all of the other esoteric wisdom on the card, that metaphor allows us to think and feel what you're perceiving, what your ideas of those images, of those colors, of those designs on a very personal level. And that's what makes a tarot reader different from other readers. Okay, thought number 2. Because the tarot cards are a reflective tool, they change each time you change and grow. If you've been a long-term tarot reading, you know that the way you read cards has changed over the years. That is for multiple reasons. Of course, you've learned to understand the cards deeper. You've gained more possibly esoteric knowledge. You have a fluidity with these cards and their meanings. You have a rapport, you have a relationship with them, you have an understanding. And then you've also had your personal self-growth and experience that you bring in. And this number 2 concept is important because the tarot does show our feelings, our thoughts at the time of the reading, at the time of the layout, at the time that we turn over the first card. Now, it can show us and remind us of things we already know about ourselves, as well as give us an opportunity to learn new concepts about ourselves that we were not aware of before. But the idea is to be objective, and the idea is for us not to bring our own personal bias in the reading. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later. The other things that I like to express suggestions is that you don't ask the cards a question that you truly do not want the answer to. And you also, it's better not to address the tarot if your mind has already been made up and you go in with the determination that this is what you're expecting, because the cards will let you see, or you will read the cards the way you see things and not see the deeper meaning of what the cards are trying to teach. And those are little pitfalls that I think we all have to journey through. And then lastly, you will interpret each card based on your own conditioning, your own belief system, your own life experience, and level of self-awareness. Now, these are all concepts to keep in mind. Now, it's true that each tarot card has multiple divinatory meanings They all have archetypal images. They all have metaphors. They all have different esoteric systems. We have astrology, we have numerology, but tarot is instinctive. All of us can tap into those images on a collective level because it's hardwired in our subconscious, in our consciousness. It's the universal mind. And that's what is important to discover about the tarot cards as you're learning them, your place in them, your own energy and understanding of that metaphor or that archetype in your personal life. So yes, we can use keywords as a foundation, as a meaning for the cards, and then we put in our own psychic ability, our personal insights, because those are doorways to opening up the reading and really giving it a lot of depth. Okay? Another thing that sometimes happens when we first learn the tarot is we fall victim to the name on the card. Let's take, for instance, the High Priestess. Well, we know that that is hidden awareness, hidden knowledge. The High Priestess seems to be a female gender, and we don't want to get stuck there. So in this video, I'm hoping to show you how to bypass that tendency to really get stuck not only with keywords, but with that you've learned to interpret through books and everything, but also with the name on it. Yes, that is your foundation. That's your jumping off point. But there's so much more to the information that can be taken from the tarot card into the tarot reading. So we're going to talk about some of these guidelines, and let's go ahead and do this this mock reading. And I think we won't present a question. I think what I'd like to do today is say, what is it that we need to learn? Let's go ahead and ask the tarot that particular question. What is it that we need to learn today? As I give you this example and go through ways of interpreting the cards a little differently. All right, so I'm going to get centered and start shuffling my cards here. So what is it that we need to learn? And I'm going to cut the cards 3 times to the left. We'll take out 3 cards, which will indicate past, present, and future. And we'll take out 1 card from each pile. We have the 8 of Pentacles. Wow. We have the 4 of Pentacles. And we have the 6 of Swords. What is it that we need to learn? All right. Now, the first thing that I like to express or give or teach is what is the common thread? Are there any images that are similar? That's the first thing. Well, the common thread that sticks out at me immediately is the gray background of these 3 cards, which gives me a feeling of neutrality, of we understand what has to take place, and there's a willingness to perceive and go forward with that. That the excitability has already occurred, and now we're left with what is and what needs to be done. The other thing is looking at the numbers. We have a number 8, we have a number 4, which is 2 4s or 8, and then we have a number 6. So 8, 4, and 6 are also considered even numbers, and they are more feminine in nature. The even numbers tend to get the job done. Again, go forward with what has to be. They don't sit around and think about it. They're the doers, the even numbers. They like to be productive, and they like to see a result at the end of the day. Now I say that almost like numbers are people, but you get my point. Of course, the other thing that we see is we have 2 pentacles, the suit of pentacles. We do not have any cups, and we do not have any wands. So what are the pentacles? Well, the pentacles are the earth material suit, the everyday, the commerce. It could be material well-being. It could be financial well-being. It's earthy. And of course, we know that the swords is a mental suit, has to do with thoughts and reasoning. So looking at having that information, we also see that we have 2 individuals that are alone, and then we have the last, the card being in the future, where there are 3 people in the image. So there is seclusion here, or isolation, and same with the present card. And then in the last card, we have activity, we have sharing, social exchange. All right? Now, activities going forward. Which cards are active? Well, I could say that all 3 are activated. This person shows activity by scribing, or let's say putting the emblem on the pentacle, the 5-pointed star. This person was active and continues to be in a, let's just say, a fixed state of previous activity when he had to balance the pentacle on his head, put the circular one over his chest, and he's maintaining the 2 pentacles under the soles of his feet. He has his back to the city. Here we have someone whose side silhouette is to a city, and the city looks very, very similar, if you can see that. But we go from an 8 to a 4. And then the last card has the gentleman's back is towards the other 2 previous cards. So this energy in the future is going to be pushing away. It's going to be out of sight. It's behind the 2 cards here previous. And of course, the woman and the child, if it is a woman, we don't know, but we're assuming it looks like the body of a woman. And usually a child is next to a female energy in the tarot as far as a caregiver or keeper. So we have that information, okay? Lastly, we can look at the I'm going to say colors, and it looks like we have all the colors. We have blue, the primary colors. We have blue, we have red, we have black, we have orange, we have yellow, we have brown. So aspects of the energy of the colors are definitely full. The one that stands out to me that we don't have in these 3 cards, well, I shouldn't say that. I just see it right here, is a little bit of green, which is growth and fertility. And that color is behind us. So it tells me that we've done that, as much growth as possible. So now, how do we read these cards? We've got an idea. and we stood away from keywords. So now what else can we do? Well, what I like to do is I like to teach people to have soft eyes. And what I mean by that is, first of all, you scan each card individually and start at the top and bring your eyes to the bottom and see if any images stick out. And you just do that with each card to see if any of the images stick out. More so than another. And then you could interpret that. That is the intuitive ability that says, okay, on this card, we're going to see that, wow, I'm looking at this gentleman's face, and there is concentration, dedication, determination. Versus another time I could look at this card and maybe I would focus more on, there was a lot of work done. There's been productivity, and now there is an adequate amount that seems to be fulfilled. There isn't any more room on this particular, let's say, stand or tree. That he even has one on the ground, so how much more productive does he want to be? But today I was focusing on determination of his face. And if this is in the past and this is in the present, that what we need to know is that we have enough because of what we did in the past. Our dedication, our discipline, our labor. And now in the present, we're saying, I might have given half of it away, but I'm going to keep these 4. And I'm not quite sure what I want to do with them. There's the gray background. And 4, the number 4 says, I'm very comfortable with that. I'm sure about it. Okay, I'm stable, and certainly he is stable. And he's willing to, in time, maybe shift that, the way his hands are, shift that understanding if he considers it, because again, he has commerce, money, materialism on his mind, in his passion, and it gives him security. Okay, so that's the present. But in the future, when we ask what is it that we want to know, then we are completely in a different world. We are now on a river. We're not on land. We are now on a river or a lake. And that usually indicates some feelings, some emotions. And if we look at the 2 sides of the water being depicted in this card, that there was calmness, but our actions of what we're doing is ruffling our emotions. So what we need to know is that we're taking our thoughts of something that has occurred that we are still in the process of assimilating, understanding, because the swords of thought, reasoning are right in front of us, but we're not ready to look at them right now. And we can even get more information by looking at how the swords are divided. Again, we have 4, and then we have 2. And if we look at the 2 of Swords in the tarot and understand what that card means, then we know that at that time we had options and a decision, or we made some choices that were difficult to make, but we made them. And then the 4 of Swords is when we took a respite, when we detached ourselves from the world and asked for higher guidance and had received it, because we're now at the 6th level and we are taking those steps with a guide helping us pass over this emotional time to another shore. So let's recap this. We asked the tarot, what do we need to know today? That the material successes in our work and our productivities of the past have worked well. We have decided presently that we are left with 4. We're quite satisfied with that, but very soon in the future, we will be leaving this behind. This is not going to be important anymore. We've been there, done that. And then we will be addressing some emotional things that may have occurred having nothing to do with us, but more so with other people that have engaged us in making some changes. And those changes seem to be online with moving, transportation, maybe visiting, maybe helping someone. And that's what the tarot is trying to teach us today, well, what it's asking us to know. So we're going to leave it at that. If you have any questions, I would love to hear from you. I hope this has been helpful. And hopefully we'll be back soon and I can do more videos to help you understand how I like to look at the cards and find meaning in them by really just kind of connecting them, even say in making a story, because the important thing to remember is that these cards are read as a group. Each card is read by the one before it and the one under it, or the one on top of it, or the one below it. And that gives you more of an understanding of the interactions of the tarot and what it's trying to teach or speak or exemplify to you at this point. All right, everybody. Take care. Thanks so much for joining me. Bye for now.